Kia ora, hello, and welcome to Anyway, the podcast where I unpack the chaos of reality TV. I am your host, Natalie McMurray, coming to you from Aotearoa, New Zealand. Today, we're watching a bunch of ungrateful wenches bitch about their lives while being filmed. Let's get into House of Stassi, Episode 3. We open with Stassi giving us an overview of what's going on. The G's moved in, being Georgi and Georgia. I guess that's what Stassi's calling them now. Which is easier for me, because they do seem synonymous at this point. She got the Netflix podcast deal, and Beau cried. I forgot that Beau compared Stassi to Al Bundy. Al Bundy, for those that don't know, is the husband from Married with Children. Stassi being Al means that Beau is feeling like Peggy, the wife. Which is pretty on point because they're reminding me of a specific scene that I remember from that show, where Peggy is like, Al, I've been thinking. And Al responds, don't do that, Peg. You'll hurt yourself. I do get the feeling that Stassi doesn't want Beau to think about going back to work specifically, but also in general. The only thing in this whole analogy that doesn't make sense is that Beau says he feels like a 1950s housewife. And Peggy Bundy is far from that. She hates cooking and cleaning. She prefers shopping and watching daytime TV. Pretty relatable. Anyway, Stassi arrives at Kristina Kelly's house. Stassi tells us the situation we find ourselves in was orchestrated by Kristina Kelly, basically. Because Kristina Kelly told Stassi to work at SIR. All I can think about when I see Kristina Kelly is about how her and Katie were total Debbie Downers at Sheena's wedding to Brock in Mexico. Do you guys remember them standing on the balcony and watching them? That was really sad. In the Scandival season of Vanderpump Rules. Speaking of Debbie Downers, does anybody else think that Emily absolutely hit the nail on the head calling Vicky one in Real Housewives of OC? She's not only being a pain in the ass Debbie Downer on that show, but she's also being one on the Ultimate Girls Trip as well. I've had enough of Vicky Gumbelson, honestly. Can we put a pin in it, Bravo? If I have to watch one more fucking scene of Vicky forcing herself to whoop it up, I'm going to stab my own eyeballs out with a fork. Anyway, these two bitches are meeting to vent to each other. Which is the real reason any of us have friends, right? Stassi talks about the difficulty of living with her two sisters and about how depressed Beau is. Kristina Kelly wants to talk about why the fuck Katie is coming around, because I guess they're not friends anymore. Kristina then tells us that she felt like hers and Katie's friendship was one-sided, with her giving a ton of effort and getting little in return. A point of view which I guess we'll have to take at face value, considering there were no cameras around at that time. Kristina hates Katie being back in their lives. She was under the impression that Stassi felt the same way. Kristina tells us that when they were in Italy for Stassi and Beau's wedding, Katie and her shared a room, and basically, Katie wouldn't shut the fuck up about Beau's friend Rob. I honestly have no idea what this has to do with anything. I mean, it sounds annoying, but it's hardly a reason to end a friendship. Kristina says something about cache pepe, and now she's completely lost me. She means cacio e pepe, cheese and pepper pasta. Just say cheese and pepper pasta. That's what I would do. Stassi tells us that she didn't mean to start drama between Katie and Kristina, which I don't really believe for a second, because she's going to celebrate their beef by throwing a dinner party. Moving on, Katie is stamping bags at Something About Her, the sandwich shop which she owns with Ariana Maddox. Ariana comes in to, I guess, help stamp the bags. I love how they're pretending like this is admin they actually do. Like, now I'm just picturing Katie Maloney sitting in Something About Her every morning, stamping bags for all of the takeaway sandwiches people order. No, there is no way. That does not happen. Ariana asks how filming is going. Katie tells her about the conversation with Stassi. She says that Stassi owned up to things and that she's definitely changed. Katie says she understands why Stassi wouldn't have wanted to be friends with her at the time of the ghosting, but questions whether she has any actual friends now, which is a bit fucking harsh, but also maybe a legitimate question. Katie says she's going to keep it real with Stassi. It's in this moment that I remember Katie is from Utah because she says real instead of real. Just like Whitney Rose from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Remember when Whitney was on her healing journey because she couldn't say healing properly? Anywho, at Stassi's house, she's having a styling day. where she gets to chill at home and try on clothes. Which sounds like a dream to me. Stassi is having the time of her life until her sister Georgie appears. She asks Georgie if she and Georgia can put Hartford to bed that night. And we find out that even Sonia, Stassi's nanny for Mesa, is getting into the drama. I guess she's vying for a position on this show, proving Katie's point that all of Stassi's castmates are on her payroll. Even more so from being on the show, I guess. Stassi tells Georgie that Sonia told her about Georgie talking shit. Georgie denies this, which is an ongoing theme. I will never not be surprised when someone who is being filmed denies things they've said and done on camera. What the fuck? We then get a montage of Georgie talking absolute shit behind Stassi's back. She's all, that bitch doesn't get along with any of our family. Daddy paid for everything that she owns. She throws everything back in my face. She literally doesn't even know how to clean. This girl needs to know her audience, seriously. We're watching House of Stassi. Do you think the audience will be on your side, Georgie? Maybe the people hate watching will. Who knows? Georgie, being the conflict avoidant person that she is, changes the subject to her dislike of Georgia. Meanwhile, Beau is talking to Georgia. Georgia is telling Beau about her dislike for Georgie. And I'm over here thinking, why the fuck are any of these people living together? Georgia tells Beau Georgie is stressed out by life in general. And while she feels empathetic to her situation, she's perplexed by Georgie's inability to recognize her own feelings and emotions. I don't know how old Georgie is, but she's coming off as someone in their early 20s. She's extremely needy and seemingly erratic. It's almost as if she wants Stassi to be her mother figure. These two may be sisters. They may be blood relatives. They may have love for each other in a familial way, but they absolutely do not like each other. Stassi tells Georgie, this is all a Georgie problem, and she could give but two shits. Producer asks Stassi if they will make peace. She says, this is peace. Can you not see how peaceful this house is? It's basically a monastery with silent monks walking around. Anyway, we see Beau and Stassi going on a date on Day of the Dead in a graveyard. Beau already looks tired and depressed in the middle of this fucking graveyard, and Stassi decides that she wants to talk about a recent pregnancy scare. He's over it. What does any couple who's going through a tough time and doesn't want to do another round of couples therapy do? They play a couples card game, obviously. The first card says, describe the first time you realized you love me. Stassi then tells us that they missed watching Eminem at Coachella because they were too busy chewing each other's ear off about how much they loved each other, while high off their tits on Molly. Good times. The next card says, how do you show love? Which seems to throw Stassi into the depths of an existential crisis. She drags Beau into the depths right along with her. Neither of them have an answer. Now I'm sitting here questioning how I show love. I guess the answer could be a love language that you give to someone, right? Like, I give out quality time and gifts. Is that what the question means? Now I'm having an existential crisis of my own. Moving on. The next card says, what do you feel our toughest moment was? Beau is all, that's a question for you. They discuss Stassi getting cancelled. And Stassi wants to know why Beau didn't resent her for the situation, because he was dragged down in the mud with her. He says, you were pregnant and there was zero time to be resentful. Beau was a good husband, despite his victim complex. Stassi tells Beau that they're throwing a dinner party. She's putting the G's to work, getting them to cook for the dinner party. Basically, this dinner party will serve as a good old-fashioned sit-down, as they call it in the mob. She wants everybody to come together, mediate disputes, settle grievances, and prevent further dramatic conflict. Stassi has high hopes. I, on the other hand, do not. Speaking of the mob, we see Katie saying, I feel like such a sensitive gangster on her podcast. A title which I've never heard anyone give themselves. I can only imagine a sensitive gangster is the opposite of Tommy from Goodfellas. Upon Googling the term, I have learnt that it comes from Love Island, which I still have not watched. I know, okay? I'm sorry. There are so many fucking episodes. How does anyone find the time? Seriously. Anyway, Taylor and Teddy have Rob and Georgie over for dinner. Dinner? Charcuterie? Drinks? I don't know specifically what for. But basically, Georgie uses it as an opportunity to bitch about Stassi some more. Jesus, Georgie, rein it in. Do all of these people hate Stassi? Why has Stassi made a show about everyone hating her? I have questions. Taylor confirms that Georgie is indeed staying at Stassi's place for free. She's all, would it kill you to change a diaper while you're there? This coming from the woman who said she wanted to be a 20% parent. And I can only assume will not be wanting to change any diapers herself. Rob says that he sees Georgie as a little sister. Are these two fucking? Because as Georgie points out, that's truly a weird thing to say. Much like Kristina Kelly is questioning Katie's recent emergence, Taylor now wants to know why the hell Katie is coming around. Apparently, Katie somehow pissed Taylor off talking to her about vitamins for 2 hours, which seems like a weird thing to be upset about. After 5 minutes of someone talking to me about vitamins, I would excuse myself to go and get a drink. Unless you're going to tell me about some miracle vitamin that makes me look 20-something years old forever, keeps me healthy in every possible way, and makes it so that I can shoot rainbow confetti out of my ass, I don't want to hear about it. Both Taylor and Kristina have pretty piss-poor excuses to be upset with Katie, which is how we know that this is manufactured drama. We see Stassi taking Georgia with her to go and get Botox. She tells her that her face is Botox to the max. She's there for the neck. We see her plastic surgeon injecting the front and back of her neck. And that shit looks fucking painful. I'm all for beauty as pain treatments, but the placement of those injections makes me deeply uncomfortable. I'm also not 100% sure what getting Botox in those places helps with. I'm gonna need to do some investigation. Stassi tells Georgia that she doesn't think Georgie has ever had Botox, which is definitely her throwing shade at her sister's wrinkly ass forehead. I'm sorry, that's mean. But a little bit true. But still mean. She looks great, whatever. Georgia goes on to tell Stassi that Sonia, the nanny, is not the only person Georgie has been talking shit to. Which is like, no shit. We've seen her talk crap about Stassi to literally everyone on the show. Georgie has been going around planting metaphorical bombs everywhere, all the while claiming that she wants to walk on eggshells with Stassi. I personally cannot wait until they explode and the egg ends up all over her face. Stassi is fully perplexed by Georgie's two-faced behavior, which makes me think that these two don't really know each other that well. She wants to know how Georgie can be portraying her as a monster behind her back, yet to her face she's all, I love you, and you're basically my mommy. Later on, we see Georgia cooking dinner for Stassi's dinner party. Stassi likens Georgie to Cinderella, to which I say, don't give your sister any more ammo to hate you or victimize herself. Please. Everyone is arriving for the dinner party. Georgie points the people to her charcuterie boards. I don't know if she thinks that's a cute way to say charcuterie or if she actually doesn't know how to pronounce it. Either way, it made the board seem less appetizing to me. Anyway, in another scene, Beau drops food on the ground. One of their dogs comes over to eat the food and presumably licks it. Beau, abiding by the 3-second rule, picks it up and chucks it in his mouth. My God. A dog's mouth is a cesspit of bacteria. I'm going to vomit. I don't know how worldly these dogs are, how often they get out, but dogs love garbage, dirt, and dead animals. Can we please just throw the food away, Beau? Katie and Stassi are chatting on the couch, while Georgie and Rob act all flirty and cutesy in the kitchen. Stassi is telling Katie that her sister is a compulsive liar and that she won't stop talking massive shit behind her back. Stassi thinks that Georgie's behavior is akin to a serial killer. I'm going to have to disagree. Most serial killers display traits of psychopathy and narcissism, which I have to assume would make them more inclined to just say shit to your face. Katie thinks this calls for a vintage ambush. Just to get things out in the open. Katie wants Stassi to choose violence, not peace. And honestly, for that reason alone, I would love to see more of Katie and less of Georgie. Taylor is asking Georgie how she is in the kitchen. She's on the brink of freaking out. I love how this woman thinks no one she's talking shit to is gonna go to Stassi and tell her. The mind really does boggle. Katie enters the chat and says, have you told Stassi how you feel to her face? Cue Stassi walking in and asking what they're talking about. Ding! Vintage ambush activated. Stassi wants to know what the hell Georgie has to complain about. Georgie is all, you're gonna believe Georgia over me? Stassi basically says, Georgia has never lied to me and you compulsively lie. Like, fucking duh, I'm gonna believe her. Yeah, of course. Dun dun dun. They're making for a very awkward dinner party. No one wants to involve themselves in sister drama. Georgie says she's trying to tiptoe around Stassi, which is complete bullshit. You don't go around to anyone who will lend you their fucking ear and talk shit about the person you're supposedly tiptoeing around. Stassi makes a great point by asking Georgie why she would want to be so close to someone that's so terrifying to her. Why didn't she just keep staying at the Taylors'? Oh, yeah, because they're doing a TV show. Doi, da doi, doi, doi. Georgie is midway through saying, I love you and I appreciate you. Stassi interrupts by saying, I think you love what I can do for you. Georgie responds, what can you do for me? Stassi's whole demeanor changes with this question. Georgie is now shitting her pants. Her face drops. And I think perhaps she's just come to the realization that Stassi has invited her into her home, where she has a bed to sleep in and food to eat. She's put her on a television show, which exhibits her artistry, which in turn will bring her work opportunities. Turns out, no, she's doubling down on the fact that Stassi can do nothing for her. She didn't ask for any of this. Georgie truly is an ungrateful wench. Kristina Kelly has great timing, arriving mid-argument. Rob enters the kitchen to get Kristina Kelly some rosé. Taylor and Katie use this opportunity to sneak out. In the lounge, Kristina Kelly is rubbing Teddy's pregnant belly, which Taylor hates. They discuss lesbian night. Apparently, Georgie swings both ways, and they want to unleash her annoying ass onto every gender possible in LA. Godspeed, single people of LA. Prepare yourselves for 5 hours of Georgie bitching and complaining about her sister to you. Kristina Kelly brings it back to the why the fuck is Katie here narrative. She thinks that it's convenient that they're filming a reality show and all of a sudden she's here. Kristina? We could all say the exact same thing about you. And she's here for the same reason you are. Stassi asked her to be here. At the end of the episode, Kristina pulls Taylor for a chat. They're teaming up in their dislike for Katie. Cue dramatic violins playing. Anyway, that's it for today. Quickly, I just want to give a shout out to Emily and say thank you so much for your email. Your feedback is truly appreciated. If you enjoy anyway, please rate, like, subscribe, share, give me a feedback. I'm open to it all. You can tell me you hate me. You can tell me you love me. You can tell me that you were once the high priestess of a coveted crazy cat lady committee. Any form of dialogue is much appreciated. Thanks for listening. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.